I've been through so much difficulty in the past just 2 hours. It wasn't very long of it. It was really bad. So I haven't drank alcohol in a few months. So I'm drinking alcohol, or 2 months or something. Hitler. So those fucking stupid people are who do that. I don't know. I don't know what pulled a magic trick to trick my own self on Jesus, because I always have God and Jesus. So rather than do something like act to anyone else, I might as well believe in God and Jesus. Bless this food in Jesus' name, amen. Praise God, praise Jesus. Come on. I gotta drink again right now, unless God has a different plan for me. Could be gone like that, like this. What does magic have to do with shit of anything? I don't know, just mentioned it twice in this video. Who would snap their fingers and then everything's okay? No, it doesn't do anything. The Bible, God and Jesus, God and Jesus. Well, those hypnotists can try to hypnotize you for success, for fun. So I watched one of those guys' videos and it was kind of fun. It doesn't look like a religion or anything that bad. That's not God and Jesus. Of course, the only religion that's really, really good and true 100% is Christianity, God and Jesus. That's the religion that's the best. The other religions have the Old Testament, but God and Jesus are what everything's about. You need Jesus to get into heaven. That's how we're judged on Judgment Day. Kindness to others, for loving even your enemies. Why they put Obama in office, to try to make friends with the terrorists. Every dark-skinned person with a big nose and a dark beard isn't a bad guy. Doesn't mean they're all terrorists. Okay, people were tired of the racism kind of the ways of, oh, they're a terrorist, they're all bad in the Middle East, they're Middle Eastern terrorist, So they tried to hold hands with everyone in peace and love, and in a Jesus-like way, loving our enemies. We tried that with Obama. We really tried it. People gave it a try, and then people got pissed, and Russia was too powerful. They would have killed us, or who knows what would have. I don't even know why, but it went back to the way old-fashioned ways with like Trump, like kind of making fun of minorities and stuff. But maybe he's a good president because he wouldn't go to war. He didn't go to any war, so who knows? Who cares? Just drink this and feel better. I haven't had this in 2 or 3 months or whatever. I think. I can't imagine how this would be good for your health. It's possible. It's possible because in the Bible, being drunk means led into temptation and sin. Being drunk means led into temptation and sin. And it doesn't necessarily mean drinking alcohol or drinking a small amount of alcohol to where you're not drunk, but you had a couple beers or 3 if you haven't had any for a year or however long. I couldn't take this anymore. It's been so bad for like ever since I got done filming that video playing drums and singing. I'm talking like Billy Graham. Hey, speaking of Billy Graham talking on a microphone, John Birmingham talking on a microphone. Here's the microphone. Excuse me. I burped. I shouldn't say excuse me because Danica doesn't like it for some reason. But she does too. Because I always used to do that. So, I'm going to talk into a microphone. Talking to a microphone. So it gives an emphasis to my voice that doesn't sound like this. It sounds like really me. Hi. Hello. Got a bad smell from somewhere. Hello. Praise God, praise Jesus. Got a bad smell. I think the neighbor thinks if he hears a loud sound, he's an N-word, the way they're supposed to smell. You know, it's like I don't like living next to him. You know. Just how I feel. You know, unless you're really racist, they're going to do that shit in places like this. Well, to a small amount. And that's one of the reasons why I want to leave. You know, it's just kind of how it is. It's just how it's been here. It's why in 2014 they turned me into the big brainwashing the country champion on putting it back to those ways, those old ways. It was mean and evil. It was like a necessary evil. They thought like the military, big political evil shit. And then I found God and Jesus, but had to become a Republican first, and their ways, nothing enjoyable about myself, my soul hidden so far inside to be their ways and as mean as possible of their ways of doing it. And then I found love and kindness and good, got back to my old ways, eating vegan, being a liberal, kind to minorities, waking up later, rock and roll music, famous cool rock stars who the Bush administration was against, you know, who Tipper Gore was against. But George Bush is actually kind of cool. He's actually okay. George Bush is actually okay. You know, he wasn't that bad. He was just like a rich kid who maybe was actually good at doing stuff. I don't know. But they made jokes about him like he was a twit or something. I'm afraid to say anything bad about him. I don't know. I don't really know what political side to take, but you know, there are minorities here who made it in Virginia, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Obama probably lived it. You know, he lived at Washington D.C., but come on, let's be realistic. This is a little closer to the South, and they have black people in the South who choose to live there. I don't know why. You know, they had to be their ancestors had to be slaves there. Why would they think, you know, but I guess they like it the best, so it must not be that bad. Who knows? I don't really care one way or another. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of my kids being in Texas. I love my kids. I'll never get tired of my kids. They're taken away from me and kept in Texas. They're physically taken away from me and kept there. And I don't like the way it is. I don't like the way it is. And I've called her 40 times today, or 30 times. She hasn't answered. She has barely talked to me, Danica, in 8 years, almost 8 years. She's barely talked to me and kept the kids to herself. and made up these rules where I could barely see my own children. And it's been at times agonizing, a little better feeling. It was annoying, but they weren't the annoying ones. My parents are my mom and dad are the kind of ones who are annoying. You know, you got to go along with the ways of how things are in various places in the country if you want to make it at the things you like to do, which is ironic because you wouldn't even get to do the things you like to do if you're having to do it too much their ways. But some of you may like their ways and it doesn't bother you that much, and you do the things you like at home, and you know it's been awful that my kids are in Texas. I was going to stay here and everything would have been, I think, the best, but she would not come back here. She hasn't come back here since 2017. So I don't know what to do about it. Yo. I don't know what to say about it. Might as well actually try to feel something from alcohol for once. I haven't drank in 2 or 3 months. That felt so bad. But I'm feeling good now, so I guess I have no reason to drink the alcohol anymore. I'm going on my computer to check the comments on the chat on this video. Yo! I ain't peep-on, tee-tong, 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 tong, tong, and word. There's some man down there who thinks that. If he hears a sound, N-word smell on you, that's who you are. Smells like an N-word. Yep, I'm better than you. But don't incinerate his corpse after he's dead when you're 82, because you already killed yourself for that one. So you can fit in with a Southerner and racist and shit. And then you fit right in. You fit right in. Stay at your house. Stay at your house. As long as you don't hurt him. But that don't matter either way. As long as you ain't the one who smelled like he thinks an N-word smells. Those are their rules. You want to stay with it or not? That's the question. And he wants you to fart into this so your wife can pretend that you didn't look at someone on the internet because of the sin of the farts that's totally different than we even think it is. That's totally different than anything that I was thinking that it was. But you don't want to incinerate the sculpture he has of himself down in the woods. Sculpture of himself. That's some kind of marijuana religion he prays to. Some kind of religion he prays to. He's John Birmingham. That's what he does. I know he does it. I see his videos. I see this. I've seen that. Get away from me. Don't put it in my mouth. I'll kill myself. Because I'm the black one, right? He won. That's a trick. If you say you killed him, then you're gay. You did something to his ass. So that means you were raping his ass, so you're too much. So you have to think about what the anxiety means. Because if you go near this, it makes shit on your mouth because you said the wrong thing. That's wrong. I got it wrong. They want me to be more hysterical, till I'm a corpse. Danica wants me to be a corpse of shit, a mummy in a casket for looking at all kinds of women on the internet while I had to work on the fucking house because she wouldn't answer my calls or emails. I sent her hundreds of emails in that time that she didn't really answer at all, and I had no one. And after suffering and having to work for my mom and dad's stuff, being like feel like they were pushing me where I gained like 10 pounds or 8 pounds, felt really unhealthy, and now I've been losing the weight again by a miracle with my mom and dad. With my mom and dad, I'd work really hard and then get to not work hard. And that was like the working on this stuff made me want to die. It was awful. It was so bad that as soon as that was like a relief from her and the kids being so far away with her parents. When they were here, everything was okay. Everything was okay with her and the kids. There are no problems with her to show me love every day. There's nothing to worry about. Other than my films and videos not paying the bills yet. That was the problem. That was the only problem. And that still has not been resolved. And so it was a problem having to work for my dad and mom back then, which made me want to die and made me sad. The other jobs besides my films and videos always made me sad. But then it gave me like a feeling when I didn't have to do it, it felt like everything was okay. But I used that to work. I used that to work as hard as I was able to possibly work at my films and videos. So I finally wouldn't have to work at that stuff again. So I was constantly working ever since I was like 12 years old. I've been at almost unrest. Like right now, I'm filming a video of this as my way to finally not want to kill myself from thinking about how to be with my wife that was relentless suffering for about an hour or two after I finished the last video. It was just unimaginable suffering, thinking about they could have incinerated all of Texas and I could have been blamed for it just because they took my children there, and then figuring out ways that it was like kind of their fault and then they were okay anyway, and nothing bad politically happened and everything was okay, which is bullshit. You know, nowadays I had to kiss so much ass to whatever. I'm not supposed to talk about it, but I stayed true to myself. But I don't care about. I'm not supposed to talk too much, but see, now it's making feces going to his mouth where he farted before, so because he's not supposed to talk. I don't give a fuck as long as this makes 100,000 views, and then this shit just blew itself up and I didn't kill myself so they don't take me to jail or take me to their facilities. That's what that was. They can't. It's impossible. I just incinerated a gun in my own hand that didn't hurt me at all. Ha! They can't take me away for being depressed with this farty shit ass thing going in my mouth so I don't talk. So it's like the old days. It's like the old days when I could actually drink beer and feel really good and like have no problems. It's like the old days. Get this fart off here. You want to kill myself and turn into a fat ass? That's what they want me to do. I get the thought of Danica's voice telling me how to do things. And because she's my wife, I have to honor her. And it's for God and Jesus. But she's pissed because I was looking at porn for a bunch as an escape because she would not talk to me, and there's no one there in real life. And she would not talk to me. She barely let me talk to so I looked at women on the computer, and she's gotten kind of pissed at the stuff I looked at that was different from her as a way to finally feel okay. So it's the sin that makes us go through all those bad suffering things. But if she was there, I could do all that stuff with her. It'd be her and me, everything would be normal. A married couple like you're supposed to be. You're supposed to treat your wife as the most beautiful one. It's okay to look at her more beautiful than everyone. So you can give her that love and attention and make her feel better and better about it. And she's your equal, so then she can't, she wouldn't be with anyone else as long as you don't, I guess. But you don't want to do, if you don't want her to start looking sexy for other men, even though that was always okay when Danica did that in videos. She'd come back to me and was never with anyone else. It was never any crazy ass faggot cuckold shit. I hate that shit. It was never anything bad about it. There's nothing wrong with gay people, but there's never any worry about it. And then, she could look like Marilyn Monroe and a superstar and was famous with, getting a few million views or 30 million views a month. Was making $72,000 in 1 month at her videos for being sexy and blowing bubbles or whatever, or not really doing it. And she still was only with me. She wasn't interested in other men, but then something went wrong, and it's just been so awful, it made me want to die. And I'm still married to her, and I think about her every day, and I hear her voice because she deprived me of her in real life and the kids in real life. So I started hearing voices of it. It's been like a torment of just not really worth living. But I've only heard her voice for like 2 or 3 years. So hopefully it'll go away. It's hot in here. Sucks. He just shit in his pants. No. I didn't do that. I don't do that. Just because of Al. That's another person. He's been the only person in my real life that's at this house that lived at my house. I haven't even gotten to have sex in 5 years. I haven't even gotten to sleep in the bed with a woman who loves me and makes me feel good about being me in 5 years. I have spent 10 or 12 years suffering alone with no one to share my bed with, no wife to be an equal. Here and there, I messed up once every few years. Oh, it's so fun. You did some cool thing with someone for one night and then suffered for 3 years every day alone with no love in my chest, feeling pain in my chest until it hurt my body from having to work in this house, breathing this stuff in with this motherfucker or somebody putting farts into my mouth at the end of it to try to give me cancer. That's how life ended up feeling sometimes. Not for some people. Actually, for some people, it probably did. That's how they ended, and they were like, shit, and died. That's how they ended. That's how they died. That's how it died. His name was Ebenezer Poor Man. Ebenezer Poor Man. He'd saw the shit out of his own leg so that they didn't do the anxiety they were trying to force him to do to others when he was cutting his own shit, doing nothing of it, and it incinerated his arm. That's how poor he is. That's how poor he is.
It's either rich or poor. We'll teach you now. We'll teach you now instead of John being your real father and showing you reality as it really is in God and Jesus. Everything's got to be rich or poor. How rich you are when you did a good job. Oh shit. Oh, it's doing something to my asshole on here, an asshole. Oh, it's poor. How poor he is. How poor his corpse is. He's going to get cancer and die a corpse. And we have his children. Who does? Demons. Not them. They're cool. They do things like this and porn, they said. But some people I don't. I don't do that. I don't laugh. I don't do this shit. Do that. Get the fuck away from me, you long lizard skin nerd. Don't kill me. Turn me into a corpse incinerated. I'm trying to do that to my own self for being the strongest piece of shit. Corpse. Fuck you. No. See, this looks like some old. I thank the Lord in heaven that it didn't turn into something bad. Thank God in Jesus. Thank God in Jesus. Thank God in Jesus. 2 people watching. We got 2 people watching these. We got 2 people watching. It ain't even a real life either. 2 real people that the 1,000 people may watch this video later. So there may be 1,000 people gonna watch this video. So it ain't that bad. There's some people watching on putting shit into his mouth so he doesn't say anymore. Because the anxiety, he wants to. Then he's got to go there and fucking shit. He's old as shit. This probably look bad too. Because life sucks. And that's how John really has to be after all this fat and shit, old, fit in with him. Oh, don't say any more. We'll put shit farts in his mouth. Fuck myself. You keep talking with farts in your mouth. You put those farts in and you like it. And then you eat every crumb when you can get, faggot. Because you don't even... You don't get to go with me, motherfucker. And you came here and tried to get your kids and you actually took them away. And I'll do some witchcraft on you. So that the wind blows and you can't leave Texas. And I'll kill you. Oh, shit. No. But she wasn't supposed to do any. She wouldn't do any witchcraft. She believes in God and Jesus. God and Jesus. And Billy Graham's better than you because you said we're racist, or the other way around. We were racist to begin with. And the only reason why we accepted John is because, no, don't kill him. He's the best one. And he was always good and godly and nice to John the entire time. And he's really good. And they don't give a shit. And he's nice. And he's good. And he... The microphone will check you if you say checky one more time on an N-word, it'll fuck you up a little bit, but not that bad because you ain't that mean anyway. And then we'll make you suffer for 10 years having to do that shit on you for pretending to be like Theo Vaughn in one video that got 120 views. Now you'll suffer for 3 days and you'll have to clean your house and clean shit and and this microphone, you have to screw that in later. Screwed if you take some shit like that. Fuck you. You think that I'd keep doing it all the time if I couldn't? Of course I would. I don't give a shit. I'd be high and drunk every moment of it, then go to sleep at night and be skinnier. Fuck you. And then and then I'd be the most famous fucking one. And with God and Jesus. God and Jesus are our Lord and Savior every step of the way, so my children get into heaven. Praise God, praise Jesus. Get into California to be high on that cocaine. Cocaine bear, motherfucker. Yeah! And then you finally didn't have to live at a poverty wage with fucking rags as clothes for 5 years as you swept up the bugs and didn't breathe it in, because that might be what Cocaine Bear has to do. And so I won't do Cocaine Bear. I ain't gonna be that guy. But the dude that spends $10,000 a night or $40,000 a night and makes $40 million that decade and kept doing it, and then he's in hell for all eternity for suffering in hell with the bugs in his nose and worms crawling and and a bed of worms when he goes to sleep across every inch of his body and in his body maybe. Or he could just or you just feel like he's breathing in bugs when he's all drunk and shit anyway and get something. I ain't gonna do that again. And God puts us through all this. God puts us through all these different things, and it's a miracle that things end up okay. But guess what? My only cocaine bear for my entire life was that shit. That was it. Other than partying in 2015. Oh, that was 8 years ago. 8 years of suffering. Oh, but 2015 I got to party for 6 months. Here and there on the weekends or, Oh, and then I had to get to work at homes and suffering and living beneath my means, sometimes at a poverty wage. And I don't want to talk about it. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, in 2011 I partied a little, and in high school I partied a little. So I can't just blow it all on Cocaine Bear and become the guy who actually gets to do cocaine because he actually lives in California. I can't do that because here, if you did it one time, you'd be in court. So I can't even try it. I can't even try cocaine. I've never tried cocaine my entire life. And that's how it's been. I've never tried cocaine my entire life. So, the reason why my nose looks this way is for a different reason. It's not because I sniff cocaine. Okay? So, it's because I worked hard at what my mom and dad worked at, what we actually worked at the whole time. Not some Will Smith on a stage, slapping someone who got all the credit for it because he's going to go down because he's black. Or that's going to be the thing that happens to do that. That's the only, let's just say that for farts and shit, nonsense shit to shit, because he's black. So that's why I want to go to California. I don't like being compared to Will Smith for saying the word parents. What did I do wrong? Make one video that tried to get a bunch of views not that I have any interest in Will Smith other than when he first did The Fresh Prince in Bel-Air. He was a likable person. He looked good. He looked cool. He had a face that looked good and likable. He was the most likable one when he was in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He did good work in that and Men in Black. Yeah, I don't know. Why am I not allowed to say the word parents? Like parents just don't understand. Is that this part of the country that they don't like what Will Smith just did? Or is it my fault for making a little video that got 400 views that they're still pissed off about and still making me not use the word parents? Every time that word comes up, you have to say mother and father. And I don't know why. Is that because of the neighbor? Is that because of Virginia? Is that because of that guy? Who's the other neighbor? I think has something to do with him, but I don't know. Who's the one doing it? And I'll be in California, and I'll never talk about it again. I'll stand up for this place. I don't want to get in trouble for whatever that word means that you can't say. You know, they're trying to put farts and shit into your mouth. They're trying to make you a minority. They're trying to look down on you for being liberal. They never want your views to get enough, no matter how good you are at it. They want shit and farts to go into your mouth and try to give you cancer with it and kill you. And my views, and so I'm going to California. And this is not how good I get to feel usually. It's usually feels like not this much glory, about sometimes 1% of this glory. That's how difficult it really is for me. And through that whole thing, there were farts going into this. That's how bad it sucks. That's how bad it sucks. I can't even put the heart and thought into my hair looking really good. I can't even do it anymore because I know, I'm aware, and in my soul that it's wrong. So I have to leave that up to God and Jesus to maybe start losing my hair or something, or keep all or most of my hair, but it's gotten a little thinner. And so instead of being able to work hard at, it's the wrong thing to. And that feels bad alone because I'm aware that we're supposed to get older and die. I have to leave it up to God and Jesus. I have to leave it up to God and Jesus. So that sucks. And it still feels like farts going into my mouth just because I talked and said the wrong shit. Unless that neighbor, I was mean to him and called him out on something, so he's making the farts go in my mouth. I'm getting out of here. I don't want farts in my mouth. Ew. Disgusting. Now I have to brush my teeth. My face looks okay. I gotta brush my teeth. Face the good old fun time I'm getting to film a video with makeup on and feel okay and look okay and feel good. And I did my best God's work to try to get back home to the kids. It nearly killed me with all my heart many times, and I couldn't keep trying to get my family back. So I made this video and drank alcohol. I could have stayed.
I think I was supposed to stay here, but you know, God has a different plan than we may know, and the sin is involved in it too. It's not the most ideal. It's not the most ideal that God would really want the best, but because of the sin, there are not exceptions to divorce, but I'm going to see what this person commented. He said a child of God, as a typo, God made it say a child of God does drink or do drugs, because some of them get into heaven. It's not, that doesn't, you know, he knows that it doesn't mean they're going to get into heaven or not if they do drugs, but so God made it say that. But I see what he's saying. The other thing he said was, don't do alcohol. Alcohol isn't good for you, John. He's right. Jesus loves you, John. Can't do a live video. Sounded like making love. God makes it sound awkward, and you know that's wrong for that reason. And we have faith. We have faith, or whatever you call it. We do what we know is right or wrong. Like, this may look like it's the coolest thing ever, but look inside. This would have had to breathe this, you know, it's not fun to save money on this refrigerator instead of having to buy a $550 refrigerator or whatever, you know, to carry up here, because instead I had to put $550 into that, you know, I had to put 200,000 cash into fixing up this house, or 100,000 cash into, or 200,000 into buying it, and something else in the house needed more work, and I had to work on it as much as I could. Now I have to wear a scarf, you know, because I gave up one time and was gonna smoke cigarettes till I killed myself, and I willingly said I'm just gonna kill myself, and did it as cool as I could, because I couldn't be with my family. I said I'm gonna smoke myself to death because I couldn't be with her and the kids, because I love them so much, and I couldn't be with them. As I was in California, I did it in front of all these people, and said I was going to kill myself. I had one cigarette, and then I was like, oh shit, and it felt like a hurdle, and I quit smoking forever within a few days. If not that time, it was within a few days. I never smoked again. And but I may have a cigar here and there when I'm able to, so I'm still not that bad. But then Al got angry because he's older and he has pains in his body and stuff. And he was my closest person. He was downstairs as my friend. And he's like 72 and has pains in his body, and his throat used to hurt. And this is his scarf. And I became kind of like him. You know, that's why I'm like a little heavier. But I'm not that heavier. I look very good. I look really good in this video. It's not at all an issue in this video, but I was always kind of like this. I didn't show it on camera, you know. I don't know. But this is not always the easiest to cover up. I have to keep warm. It's going to get cold tonight in the 30s Fahrenheit, and like 37. It's not freezing, but I have to keep warm. Something smelled like pee. I don't know why it would smell like pee. It's not that bad. This refrigerator, even this is the worst. You know, this just has some rust. It has rust, which technically does not do damage to the body, and it has a light that doesn't work, and there's a little water that collects in the bottom of it that here and there every like couple weeks I have to clean up the water, but I haven't done it. It's in the very bottom, and it's okay. I have stuff in here. This lettuce I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's, you know, this probably hasn't hurt me. That's just water in the bottom, but it looks old. And this is like frozen. This is frozen down here, and then it gets up to like regular temperatures. It's not that good, but it's good. It's good. It's kind and Jesus-like. It's kind and Jesus-like. It's not really hurting me to breathe in, but there's so many things like that was from my own sin, from lust and some fornication.
some fornication, because when I didn't have my wife, I didn't know who to be with, and I missed having someone to love me and make me feel good about myself. And it was a worry for many years. It was a worry for many years. I was worried about AIDS or every STD I worried about, and I used to hide and close the mini blinds. I thought I'd start to open the blinds to see another human being and think AIDS, and it would like make the hair on my not just the hair on my arm stand up, but I didn't know what it was. Like I thought it made me feel really bad. AIDS. I was so worried. and then but I'm not worried about AIDS. AIDS. I can joke about it again. AIDS. That's how my friends here do. They say AIDS. Or they used to, but some of them are suffering so bad with depression and various things. But in America they have depression because they show us these famous people, but that's okay. I guess that's good. You can try to be famous. I don't know why. I don't know why, but the famous stuff is supposed to be good for some reason. That's like okay. And but you just don't be mean about stuff. Don't be sinful. And I had to like try to say praise God, praise Jesus, or just I've had to let the sin come that I thought I did myself, that I deserved to suffer through, go through my body and hurt my body. I had to feel like my body was being incinerated and killed, and my penis incinerated, and no penis with all my heart, because it was so awkward to think about being with a family member, and thoughts for when I had looked at women and thought really good about about being with a woman, or more than one woman. And then I really had to suffer when I was trying to be around family because my wife was angry, and I had to like think about incinerating my entire penis, and and worse, she wanted it to look it have had to feel so bad about the way I looked and felt, and somehow it was just in my thoughts, and it may have not done any permanent damage to my body. It may have not done any permanent damage to my body. So that's a miracle. I feel really strong, healthy. I don't know. But there are people in their 20s who look at me and go, he's fat. And then they turn around, and I felt like the most famous one, and they said how much they love me and are in love with me. After they told me it looks like I have palsy, like some 80s person, because I sang an 80s song that looked like I had palsy, like Michael J. Fox, who's old. That sucked. And then they came back, and I felt like the superstar with all of them saying how much they love me. Like, almost like really loved. Well, many of them, like, there were like women who looked good and were young who were like, I love you. This was a few days ago. This was like yesterday or 2 days ago, after I had suffered, after they made fun of me and called me old. And then I was like confident again, or just it wasn't the confidence that did it. It was that just God made it that way somehow. Or I told my wife, if she's my wife, I think she's my wife, and I felt bad. I felt so bad, and it felt like I was like a corpse of shit in a casket, and I felt like that's how I was supposed to be, and with all my heart, because of the sin I did. And it's pretty bad if you sin, what you have to go through to still make it to heaven. And I felt so bad about it that by some miracle, God made me the popular one. It was like all these young women, and one of them was a gay guy, but that was like the annoying one. And then the women were saying he's stupid and stuff, and I was still the coolest one. It was a couple videos back. It was in the chat, and I felt very confident. It was in one of my videos I did a couple videos back, and that was the first time I felt loved, like almost like the Beatles. Like it was starting to be loved like the Beatles. Or the Beatles, I don't know, they might end up with beetles all crawling through their skin, a bed of worms, with all that horrifying stuff that's down in hell. That's not here. That's not here on Earth. That's good. That's not here on Earth. And the Beatles may end up in hell for all eternity. We don't know, but you know that's started to get a little scary. I used to never be afraid of that. I wanted to go be the most famous one on Earth, and I went to Los Angeles, and you know, and then here being back in my small town where it's like, oh, don't do that famous stuff. It's you know, I started believing some of them, so I don't know what's real or not, but sometimes I look at them and they say like, you know, I think they're not, you know, if they're white. Hopefully, I don't ever say that stuff those rednecks say about like minorities and stuff. Like they look at me that way. I used to have darker eyebrows before I did something to them, and now I can just do. It feels like I can do whatever to them. But and I had dark black hair. I had very black hair, and it feels like they would say, like one of them said, "You believe they let one of them live here? Can't believe they let one of them live here right in front of my face." Right when I moved in, I was sitting on the steps and he was talking to Al, but it's not, you know, and he did that. It was the guy who lives down there, and they believe they let one of them live here. Can't believe let them live here, you know, because I had very black hair, but now it's gotten lighter because it's gotten a little more gray. And it's easier to keep it a regular color if I just put blonde in it. Yeah, I mean not put blonde in it, but bleach it, and it looks like there's no gray in it. But I did try to draw green sideburns, but it's easier just to bleach it, and then it doesn't have any gray at this age because it's gotten a little gray, so it looks all blonde if I just bleach it or something. But it doesn't hurt it. It shouldn't hurt it. I don't see why, but I don't know. And that sucks, looking like older and stupid. Not stupid, but I don't know what to do because my dream still didn't happen with the films and videos all the way yet. But I don't know. I don't know. I know some people. It used to be. I used to invite people here from various parts of the world. I would have invited people from any country. And it was fun and good here. And I made movies with people, and it was a good place to live. And it was really good. And there are people from Iceland, Sweden, all around, all different parts of the U.S. I would have invited them from Africa, any country, as long as they're good and kind and I got along with them. They could have come here and make films and videos. Nothing sexual, nothing no gross, awful to ever think about that. I never had to mention that back then, and I invite them here as friends. And I did it one time on my movie, The Vampires of Zanzibar. And there are black people in it, white people. Everything was okay. It was in Roanoke, Virginia, this small town, and I went out there and filmed movies and had a good life, but the films didn't make much money. They didn't make much money, and then I had to get to work. I had to really get to work on working on homes, and I had worked really hard at the films. It wasn't like I just showed up and made a movie. I had to do the entire movie myself. I had to do all that, and so I'll probably go to Los Angeles so it finally makes enough money. That's another reason I want to go to Los Angeles. I don't know. But it's okay. It's gotten kind of big from here, but, all it meant was having to get to work on some shit that made me want to die. Because the videos and films didn't make enough money. So before it got totally thrown out, I was like, I couldn't even, I had to leave it all up to God and Jesus. I had to leave it all up to God and Jesus. I've never thrown out my good work. I do God's work on my films and videos. Films are actually God's work. But this is just a random video. Maybe I can play a song on drums. This is so stupid. I want to be with her and the kids. I love my wife and kids. See, I love my wife and kids. Why would I just play drums? I love my wife and kids. I don't get to fuck off and do whatever I feel like all the time like you do. Like, you know, some person in the neighborhood who gets to fuck off and thinks I'm a wannabe. What do you mean wannabe? With your loved ones, with your wife and kids, they call that a wannabe? What are they talking about? That's the most horrific bad thing I've ever heard of. And they say hard because I dyed my hair, because I made my hard, because he's really white and he wants to act like it's her. He wants me to say her, and then he hard, because he heard what I said, so it's her, because he's really white and wants to prove that since I bleached my hair, you know, I have to think about this stuff, and it's just stupid, and I never want to be a part of it again. Never want to be a part of that again. Never want to be a part of any of it. I want to be in I don't, why do they think I'm a wannabe? Where does wannabe come from? It's like these words that show up that are anxiety. Anxiety words. What they know it is, but it's actually because of real people. You know, I'm not pissed at them. I'm not going to hurt them. But, you know, it's just actually thinking about where it actually comes from. Who is the one who's doing it? And then being kind to them, forgiving them. I'm sorry. Oh, you didn't know what you did. You know not what you do. Like Jesus wants us to be towards them. But actually knowing where that anxiety, quote unquote anxiety, or those thoughts came from. The people in this neighborhood, how awesome it is in this neighborhood. They want to be, they want to be. I don't know which one of them thinks it's a wannabe. I don't know. But it's a good neighborhood. It used to be a really fun neighborhood to live in, and sometimes it's still pretty good. But it hasn't been appropriate to go outside. But I could probably go outside. Maybe I'll go outside. I don't know what I do, because I love my wife and kids, or if she'll love me back, you know, or without that. That's the problem, is that she hasn't written back or called back, and I've called her 10,000 times. I've written to her and called her, or called her and written to her 10,000 times, or 14,000 times. She's only written back maybe 2,000 or 3,000, 2,000 times or something, and called back. And so it's just, you know, it's not easy when you want them at home. You know, she's my real wife and kids. God still has us together as wife and husband, as her. You know, we're the same flesh. We're the same flesh. I'm not gay. I don't want to do anything on my own, but people will say that because I haven't gone to another woman after all this. You know, but God still has us together. So I don't. If it was doing this shit, like to pretend it's my own ass around her, I'd have to suffer for it, because I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that in front of her. We're not gay. We're, you know, but it's caused an awful. It's just, you know, watch this. I don't give a fuck about being alive. It sucks. It's like her thinking about being with other men, and I've had to suffer without her talking to me and writing to her, constantly trying to get there. I've gone there 10 times and trying to finally feel okay with her and the kids, and instead she shows random lust to other men, and you know, I just would want to be dead. I don't like that shit. I don't want to be dead. Of course I want to die. I don't want to live anymore. Do you have any idea how bad it feels? Like, this looks like it's okay and shit because I acted big and strong to fucking shoot myself, to shoot my own self, to hurt my body. You know, it's not good anymore. It's good. I'm kind and good, but it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to this body. It doesn't feel good to this body. My soul's really good. My soul's really good. I've had to suffer and feel small, weak, fat. I was way out of shape a few weeks ago from working so hard in this house, and then I lost weight, and it's been a struggle every step of the way. And the people in this neighborhood are so skinny and in good shape, and it's like cool, and they think that like even eating food for my health so I don't get sick, they thought it was too much food, and I think in my brain. So it's like it's just, that's why I went to alcohol. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to think about her unless she's going to be here in real life. And I don't even want to live in Roanoke because my films and videos didn't make it from here. So I don't know what I'm going to do. So I leave it all up to God and Jesus. I leave it all up to God and Jesus. Leave it all up to God and Jesus. So I leave it all up to God and Jesus. Leave it all up to God and Jesus. And I got the thought from a voice right then, you'll get your cancer. That's what the fuck you're talking about. I actually have to take a crap, and then I have to work at using the bathroom because I'm so strong. I have a high metabolism, and I've had to use the bathroom a bunch. And then I've had people who work at their jobs a bunch, and they say, "Oh, all you do is work at taking a crap," or something like that, and they don't realize that Chris Pratt actually had a high metabolism too when he was getting in shape for roles, and he had to pee and poo so much it was like exhaustive. And so I actually have that much muscle, but I couldn't say it to anyone besides right now, because they'll act like you're so lazy, all you do is like use the bathroom or something. Take your shit, boys. Take your shit. I just want to leave. Take your shit, boys. Fat as shit. Go. Nobody did that to me in those classes in particular. It was okay. But I had to move back here to where I went to high school and schools and was a fat kid and made fun of. But I don't know what to say about it. You know, I don't really want to live here. That's how I feel. But you know, I stole a few things when I was in high school, and 30 years later, they still haven't forgotten. They act like I still stole shit. I've been this kind, good person. I suffered back then with problems with the way I looked for 2 years from when I stole stuff, and that felt so long as a child. It was not easy, and then to come back here and be treated like I would steal anything ever. You know, thou shalt not steal. I don't steal anything. I don't want to be a part of a place where they look at me like I would ever do anything like that. And you know, that's kind of how it's been every once in a while here. And all the little stupid things that are just not stupid, way worse than stupid. Way worse feeling than stupid. You know, I don't want to kill myself anymore. It's happened 4,000 times. I don't want to live that way anymore. Happened again right there in this own video. Right there in whoever owns the video. God and Jesus. God owns the video. I have to use the bathroom. Gotta take a shit. Gotta take a shit. It's pretty safe here. It's pretty good here. Hi. Probably put long pants on, so. Bye. It's pretty good here. Well, it's good. I know it's good. But it was scary out there sometimes. It felt like the tribulation, the end of the world. It felt like the tribulation, the end of the world. That's scary to me. I don't know what I'll do in the tribulation other than live for God and Jesus. Live for God and Jesus. However small I am, however big or small, or I wouldn't know how to be too powerful because that's more of the Old Testament. Jesus is about kindness to others, giving, I don't know how, you couldn't really fight anyone. You can't hurt them back. They're enemies. You have to make friends with, you have to love your enemies. The tribulation, you have to give it all to God and Jesus. So I don't know if I'd have my arm anymore. I don't know what I'd have to go through. And that's how you're really supposed to be. And it's been a little scary going to Texas. It's been a little scary to get. It has felt like the tribulation. Two of those times. One time that I went there, it really felt like the tribulation. I didn't make it there, and I got stuck in some place in Mississippi. Didn't even know where I was. I thought it was the end of the world. And I didn't look cool and strong. I don't know what I looked like, but it was not easy. And another time, I made it there and had to go to a hospital for 3.5 weeks. I didn't know if I'd ever get out. I thought it could have been the end of the world. It was just not easy. And but 8 times, I think it was 8 times, I made it there. And I got to. But the tribulation is pretty scary. And the tribulation is pretty scary. And here it's like it's almost like living in like everything's okay. There's nothing that bad other than here and there I had to get to work on the house, and that didn't feel very happy. And the kids and my wife and kids aren't here, and having to work in the house, it's just without them and with having to work in the house, that was awful. But it's not that bad. The other stuff's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. That's how I would look at it. It's not that bad. And that's pretty much what the earth is, but maybe it can get really good. There are times when it has been like heaven on earth, and it was at this house. I didn't experience that anywhere else on earth besides here. It was like 3 or 4 months, and it was because before that, I had to work 1.5 years every day, 12 hours a day, every day for 1.5 years besides 4 days off. I can count the days I had off. I had 3 days off on Labor Day weekend. 3 days off on Labor Day weekend, and I had 1 other day off when I couldn't go on anymore, and I had to take a day off. And that's it in 1.5 years of working on this house and a house before this that I worked on 1 year before this house. And I got this house to where it was finally able to be insured, and that was. And at the end of that 1.5 years, 12 hours a day, every day besides 4 days. That was
And that wasn't that easy. And so then it felt like heaven every day for 2 or 3 or 4 months, unless I talked to my mom and dad on the phone, and they give me so much worry, and like I had to constantly do things, and sometimes it took 24 hours to 48 hours just talking to them on the phone one time to calm down again. And when I was away from them long enough and had enough money, I was at peace for the first time since I was 12 years old. And it felt like heaven on earth. I could lay in a bed, the beautiful warm sun came in. Everywhere I looked like a CGI heaven with this beautiful sunlight. But I don't know what I looked like. I may have looked a little heavier or not as good or kind of okay. I don't know. But everywhere I looked was so beautiful, and I'd eat food sometimes a little bit and or more or however much. And it was like heaven on earth. I finally didn't have to work. It was so amazing. It went on for about 3 or 4 months. And I did videos here and there. And I was making like $1,000 a month on videos from my Ronald McDonald video. But then I had to get back to work on this home and going to Texas. And it was just, I don't know. But it was pretty amazing. It was like heaven on earth for as far as I knew. But heaven's way more good and beautiful than that. So it's way more good and beautiful than I even could understand right now. Than we can understand. I want to see what Corey said. Or somebody else. What if the earth is hot dog shaped? No, it's not. I think it's not, unless the humans got science wrong. You might be right, because in the Bible it doesn't say what shape the earth is. I think, unless it says in the Bible that it's circular. You may be wrong. It may be hot dog shaped. I don't know, but not like a man's private parts. That would be awful. That'd be awful. Because when people are married, they're made as one flesh. When they try to make a baby, that makes them as one flesh. And then they're in love, and they're the same flesh. They're the same, and they're equal. They're the same. And it's not the act of fornication or lust that ever creates that's supposed to. Well, sometimes that we're sinful and bad. That could hurt us. We're sinful and bad on earth. It's not heaven on earth, that's for sure. It's the earth. It pretty much sucks sometimes. It doesn't always suck. Right now it doesn't suck. It feels pretty good. Right now it feels pretty good. It feels pretty amazing right now. Oh, he said Khalid Muhammad said the earth is flat according to the Quran. My friend Corey got the thought he got angry at that. Because I didn't talk to Corey. Corey's in the videos. I'm trying to get this out of the way. I'm trying to look at what Corey said.
Hey, up yours. Hey, the streets of New York. Hey, get out of here. Hey,
see what this? No.
Hey, streets of New York City, up yours, get out of here!
To bully. Oh, mate, no. To bully. To bully's not Italian. That's like, I think it's Middle Eastern. Tabbouleh. It's not Italian. Well, Italians they might be nice to people from Tabbouleh, for people who eat tabbouleh, who are Lebanese people, who is in the South, who is in, or I don't know. Hey, tabbouleh. No.
Oh, no. A woman. I'm a woman. I'm a woman.
That guy, D. Snyder.
I got a cool face.
He's got like a big jaw.
Hey, D. Snyder.
He's like, I don't know.
D. Snyder, yeah. Yeah, Wolfpack Motorcycle Gang, yeah, Wolfpack
I know. Wolfpack, you kill the shit out of me. Get away from me. No, no, no. Okay, bye. Praise God, praise Jesus. Bye. Praise God, praise Jesus. Bye.